Hey guys, welcome to the Buck Brief pre-election edition. Within about 24 hours or so of you listening to or watching this podcast, we'll actually have election results in some of the states. Yeah, that's where we are now. Let's just take a dive into it with our friend Ryan Gerdusky. National Populist Newsletter is his on Substack. He is the conquistador of CNN. And he joins us now. That seemed to work. I feel like that goes.
Yeah, I like it.
You know what I mean?
Call worse things.
You know what I'm saying? So, okay, tell me this. Trump's going to win this thing? What do we know from the early vote? I mean, give me the top line on what really matters. Early votes are in. What do we know for sure as we talk right now?
So it looks so unless something radical changes on election day, and it could, because I don't like making certain predictions. I learned my lesson in 22. If something doesn't change, the black vote is down substantially. And for every one black voter who doesn't show up, Democrats need like 1.5 to 2 college educated white voters to make up for them. Depending on the state, they need more. Like in Georgia, they would need like 5 basically to show up. Because Republicans win the college educated white vote in Georgia. That means a lot. In Georgia right now, compared to 2020, the black vote is down over 100,000 votes. It's a lot of votes to have to make up. And they are typically not election day voters. They are typically early voters. In North Carolina, it is down substantially. In Ohio, I just did these numbers today for a candidate. In Ohio, the 3 biggest blue counties, Cuyahoga, Franklin, and whatever one is in the middle, I forget the name of it. Those 3 counties in 2020 were 28.5% of all early voters. They are currently 24.75% of all early voters. The rurals almost everywhere are on fire with huge turnout numbers. Those are all good things for Trump. Bad things for Trump. College educated white voters are almost certainly voting for her in big numbers, possibly bigger than 2020. And she will win a majority of every minority group. That will also work for her. And the women vote is very, very large. Those things are working for her. Election day will matter tremendously, and it will just have to wait and see who is going to show up and if Republicans have the momentum to show up on election day.
Is it fair to say that Trump is in a better position 24 hours before states are calling the elections for one side or the other than he was in 2020 or 2016?
Oh, absolutely. In 2020 and 2016, everyone was like on the Titanic playing the violin. No one in his inner circle thought he could win in 16. Maybe like Steve Bannon did, but most people did not. And in 2020, most people thought it was over. I will say in 2020, I thought that he was not going to win re-election. So it's a much different game this time around. It's very, very close. Democrats are banking on a huge support of white voters for Kamala. This is a group that they've had major polling errors with in the past that I've said about repeatedly. And if the black vote is down, there is not enough college educated whites to get her out of that. So that is why she spent her entire day today in Pittsburgh and Philly. That is why Democrats are all over the South right now. That is why they went to sit there. Why Obama said to black men, you have to go vote or otherwise you're patronizing towards black women. They're very worried. The black male vote is down substantially. The rural black vote is way down. The urban black vote is slightly down.
Now, is it the black vote overall very much down, or is it disproportionately within the black vote black men who are not coming out for Kamala? Do we know that yet?
Yeah, the black male vote is way down. The black overall vote is down because of the black male vote. Because the black male vote is so far down, it is bringing the overall black vote down. And these are people, typically election days in Georgia, for example, and North Carolina are whiter and more Republican than early voting. So the fact that that is the history, now, of course, streaks can be broken, things can change, but everyone who has been watching this for a long time estimate that the percentage of black vote is going to go down post-election day. So if we wake up on tomorrow morning and there is 17 block long lines in Atlanta and in Philadelphia, that's very good for Harris. If there are not, she's going to need an immense turnout from white college educated voters to make up that difference.
All right, I want to say we're going to get into Pennsylvania next, and then I want your Michigan, Wisconsin, and we'll say sort of lightning round on anything else, any other states that you think need particular attention. We'll go to Pennsylvania next, but our sponsor here is Porter and Company. And look, I recently came across a Wall Street legend with a fascinating warning. November 8th, he says, is going to open the biggest rapid-fire money-making opportunity of his 50-year career. He says there's a disconnect in the stock market that's opened a way to spot potential buying sprees on 5,000 different stocks before they occur, and it could double your portfolio. Look, this is a guy who recommended an AI stock 10 years ago, which would have made you $32,000 if you'd bought and held. He famously invented an indicator back in the 80s that helps direct billions of dollars on Wall Street every day. Now he's sharing a completely new way of handling your money. Go to stocks2025.com for details on how his strange new discovery could double your portfolio over the next year. He's agreed to share it with all of my listeners. You must get positioned by November 8th, just a few days away. So go check it out, stocks2025.com. That's stocks2025.com. All right, Ryan, Pennsylvania, the good, the bad, the ugly, 24 hours out from D-Day here on this election. What can you tell us?
So in Pennsylvania, Republicans make up about 34% of all early absentees returned. Democrats are about 56%, I believe, 56.5%. Democrats are down about 700,000 votes from their 2020 number. Republicans are down about 30,000 votes from their 2020 number. A few more will come in. I guess you have up to election day to mail your vote or to just hand it in at the polling site. So I imagine they're going to hit their 2020 number. What is an interesting fact is that for Republicans, their best counties are in the northeast part of the state, which have a huge amount of New Yorkers who fled there during COVID, and in rural western Pennsylvania, where they have surpassed their 2020 numbers in almost every county outside of Allegheny, the home of Pittsburgh, and Erie, which is another city. What is interesting about Democrats is Democrats' best counties are Tioga County, Potter County, Bradford County, Adams County. Now, that may not mean anything to you, but those are all mega Trump counties. Those are all 70 to 80% Trump counties. What that sits there and says to me, and the only way to get 70 or 80% in those kinds of counties is because you get ancestral Democrats to vote Republican, because there's not enough Republicans to make up 80% of the vote. What that says to me is conservative Democrats are as eager to vote for Trump as conservative Republicans. That's a very good sign for them. On the other side, there is a lot of lower propensity Democrats who have already voted than Republican low propensity. But remember, it's not a traditional early ballot state, early voting state, because they don't do early ballots. They sit there and they have to mail them. It's a whole big to-do. And they have a lot in Philadelphia they could still sit there and get. So that's the good thing for Democrats. There's a lot more Philadelphia. There's a lot in the collar counties of Philadelphia. For the Republicans, though, is that they're not playing games. In 2020, Republicans led in 8 counties of the 67 in Pennsylvania. They currently lead in 40 today. Mostly rural, mostly small, but they are not playing games. They are actually showed up and voted early, which is a very, very big deal.
I know I said that we would do Pennsylvania and then move to Michigan, Wisconsin, but actually, wild card. The Iowa Seltzer poll that Democrats were doing backflips over with all their excitement over the weekend. You're the poll guy, right? I don't know what I am. I'm not the poll guy. I'm the other stuff guy. But I can sit here and say that if Kamala Harris wins Iowa, she's winning everything that's even vaguely close, right? I mean, Donald Trump didn't he win Iowa by 8 in 2020? So why?
If she's winning Iowa, if she's winning Iowa, she's winning Ohio and Florida.
That's what I mean. Like it seems like that's completely insane. So what? I don't just want to dismiss it as it's propaganda or whatever. People say she's a decent pollster. You pointed out, I saw on Twitter, she's been wrong big time a bunch of times too, right? I mean, as many pollsters have. But what is she getting wrong? Like, I want to learn from the error here. Like, what is she missampling? Because maybe that's applying elsewhere. Or maybe it tells us something.
So, and she has been right in the last 3 presidential elections to the point, and she's been right on a lot of U.S. Senate elections. She's wrong almost every primary. I mean, regularly every primary. But she doesn't weigh past voter activity or partisan membership, right? She doesn't weigh Republican, Democrat. When in 2020, the state was 0.6% Republican. Today, it is 6% Republican. Every county has moved to the right. What she sat there and said is that the change for Kamala is coming out of two major groups: senior citizen white women, because remember in Iowa, almost every senior citizen is a white woman, senior citizen white women, and senior citizen white men. She said white men over 65 moved 30 points to the left from 2020. Senior citizen women moved 29 points to the left. That's the entire thing. Her poll says that senior citizen women, only 1 in 4 white women over 65 is voting for Trump in Iowa. And that only half of men, white men, are voting for Trump over 65. That seems very, very, very illogical. She also has almost very little to no movement among independents. So this would require Kamala to win about 20 to 25% of senior citizen Republicans. Call me skeptical, but I don't think every Fox News viewer who watches Sean Hannity became a resist lib overnight. I think that there was a weighting issue. What a lot of people are sitting there and saying is that this is a sign that there's real movement among seniors towards Kamala. This is proof of it. And maybe they're right. This is a narrative I have been extraordinarily skeptical of, because it was the same narrative in 2016 and it was the same narrative in 2020. It has been consistent, where they say Hillary was going to win seniors and she didn't. They said Biden was going to win seniors and he didn't. Now they're saying Kamala's going to win seniors. I don't believe it. There's also a big divide in the state. They say that Iowa is a Rust Belt state. It is a difference. It is a split between a Rust Belt state and a prairie state. It is a lot like Kansas, but it's also a lot like Wisconsin. So where is the change coming from? What kind of voter? Kansas should be closer this election than it was 4 years ago. So should Nebraska. But it doesn't mean neither one are going to flip. So that's really where she sits there and says it from. Mark Halpern asked her about my tweet about it. I don't know if you saw that, and
No.
she didn't know what the R. You didn't see it?
No.
Oh, Halpern says, look at Ryan Gerdusky's tweet on exit polls from 2020 to your numbers, your crosstabs in 2024, and she asked what the R and D stood for in the crosstabs. So,
wait, really?
Yes, you can look it on video. I'll send it. I'll text it to you.
Okay, that sounds about right. All right, so we're going to do Michigan, Wisconsin up next. We'll get to it in just 1 second with Ryan Gerdusky here, National Populist Newsletter. Look, the debt, it's not going away. It's going to keep getting worse. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. However this election goes tomorrow, the debt's going to keep getting bigger and bigger. What can you do about it? Well, you can take action now, and you can put some of your savings in an inflation-sheltered and tax-sheltered portfolio. You can do this with gold, my friends. Birch Gold will help you in converting an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. And the best news, you don't pay a penny out of pocket. Just text the word BUCK to 989898. Get a free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just information on fortifying your savings before the crazy really hits. Birch Gold has an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. Thousands of happy customers. You can trust Birch Gold, too. I have gold here at home from the Birch Gold Group. You just get real gold and silver also. You don't have to do 401k or IRA. It's a great idea as well. But if you just want to have some precious metals on hand, I've got mine. Text BUCK to 989898. Get your free info kit today. That's BUCK. Text BUCK to 989898. All right, Ryan, Michigan. What do we know so far?
So Michigan does not have party registration. Neither does Wisconsin. These are very tough states to estimate because they do not have party registration. The recorder for Wayne County, which is the home of Detroit, says that she believes there's going to break the 2020 number in Detroit, that the turnout's going to be that high. Considering people are leaving Detroit and the population has shrunk by 6,000, I find that hard to believe, but she knows the city better than I do since I've never been there. That would make it very, very hard. This would be into the whole Oakland County, Western Michigan, which they don't like Trump, vote would be able to sit there and stop any working class surge from those places. We don't know what the numbers look like right now with the Muslim voters. That will be very, very interesting. Obviously, Rashida Tlaib refused to endorse Harris, as did many, many, many people, including the mayor of Dearborn and the mayor of another Muslim city endorsed Trump. That's all we know. In Wisconsin, the rural vote is on fire. It's about 70% already of where it was in 2020. The urban vote is only at 50%. That's a good thing for Trump. He's going to need to continue it Wisconsin and Michigan also have day of voting registration, which is a little problematic. So the turnout could be much higher because new people could be registering. That was that whole conspiracy that you heard on the internet from 2020 was that, oh, there's more votes than there were people. People can vote and register the day of. You don't have to look at past voting registrations. So it makes it a little harder and a little more problematic to really guesstimate where Wisconsin and Michigan are.
We're going to really have some fun with Ryan now. All right, Ryan, gun to the head. Pennsylvania, who wins? Kamala or Trump?
I hate these poll questions. I think Trump's going to win. I think Trump's going to win because I think the senior citizen numbers are all wrong. And this is my drum I've been beating.
Wait, are you saying he's going to win Pennsylvania, or he's just going to win the whole thing, including Pennsylvania?
He's going to win. He's going to win Pennsylvania because the black vote's not coming out, minorities aren't coming out, and senior citizens are more Republican than pollsters think. That's my estimation. That's the only reason I think that he has a chance to win. If those things fall apart, then he will lose, and Kamala will be our 47th president. But that is my estimation. I think those three things are happening. I don't think the black male vote's excited for her. I don't think Latinos are especially excited for her, and I don't think that the senior citizen vote is nearly as blue as people think it is.
What's the Gerdusky fallback plan if Kamala wins? Are we talking like Buenos Aires? Going a little more rural, outer Mongolia? Like, where are you going?
You know what? I don't know. You just got to sit there and stay. Listen, the greatest irony is, and I've said this, I think I said this on your show, is if the census got it right and didn't allocate 3 extra electoral college votes to Minnesota, Colorado, and Rhode Island, Texas would have got 2 and Florida would have got 1, and we wouldn't have needed any of the Rust Belt states. If this coalition is able to hold together, if North Carolina is able to stay Republican, Georgia is able to stay Republican, this may be 2028, but after that, it may be a very long time before they do need the Rust Belt again. I would just probably go to, the problem is actually you people, everyone who went to Florida, some of you should have sat there and stayed in Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin, actually. I'll just blame all the new Floridian Republicans who've been fleeing the state constantly.
Did we concentrate too much in Florida? Is that really what's happening 100%.
Here? Yeah. There is a net loss of Republicans overall from the Midwest from people who moved to Florida. They just moved so heavily to Florida that it caused a big erosion of Trump voters. But I mean,
I think Trump's going to win Florida I think Trump's going to win Florida by 10 points or more. By the way, is that crazy to you?
It's a little high, but I wouldn't be surprised if he won by 6 or 7.
Okay.
Maybe he won by 10. I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, Florida is a brand new country. Florida is it is a new day in Florida.
It's fantastic.
For sure.
I want to push you on because the great thing is people are going to listen to this and then the election will happen and then we can just play out your clips where you nail it. I want some outlier predictions from you. Any Senate race, any House race, any particular state, right? So just a few randoms. I'll give you a minute to think about it. Is Kerry Lake going to pull it out last minute in Arizona? Is New Hampshire actually in play for? No, don't answer it now. We're going to go into a break. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Look, do you want to get better at shooting without spending money on ammo or time at the range? Get yourself a Mantis X, my friends. The Mantis X training system. 94% of shooters improve within 20 minutes of using it. Mantis X is an at-home training system. Use it with your gun to do dry fire practice. Pistol or long gun, your rifle. High-tech, very easy to use. Real-time feedback on your shooting technique. Just attach it to your gun like a weapon light. Download the easy-to-use app. Follow the instructions. You can use it at home and at the range. The U.S. Marines, Army, Special Forces have all used Mantis X as part of their training at various points, and we all know how effective they are. So go check it out. Be a responsible gun owner. Increase your competence and confidence with Mantis X today. Dry fire practice, technology in your hand. So easy to set up. I've got it here at home. MantisX.com, MantisX.com. All right, now I want I'm not asking you to make a prediction per se. Like, I'm not asking you to say this will happen, but what are some things that you think have a serious possibility of happening? Hung Cow in Virginia for Senate. Like, is there anybody that's in the mix that you think could surprise people tomorrow? State, House, or Senate?
In Nevada, they're counting on a huge swath of Clark County that hasn't shown up to show up. I'm not sure if it will show up. It's a lot of hopes are living in Clark County. If it doesn't show up, I think that there's a real chance that one of the House seats there in the Vegas area will flip, and possibly the Senate seat. I think that would be a surprise.
So wait, you think Sam Brown? You think Sam Brown can win in Nevada?
I think it would be. I mean, I think that he's got a decent chance, just because. I mean, they're literally banking all their hopes on these mail-in ballots that haven't landed yet, and I don't know what they're waiting for these mail-in ballots to land. Maybe they will be there, but they're hoping for 30,000 more Democratic ballots to sit there and come that haven't come so far.
Who has a better shot? Who has a better shot right now in your mind? See, this is so fun. Just keep throwing stuff at Ryan. He's like, stop. Like, no, we have more. McCormick or Hovde, who do you think is better positioned to win right now in their specific race? McCormick in Pennsylvania for everyone at home, Hovde in Wisconsin.
McCormick.
Really?
Because Hovde has two outlier right-wing candidates. There's a MAGA party candidate that the Democrats launched, and then there's a libertarian. So they'll split or off at least maybe a point between the two of them.
Oh my gosh, they ran little spoiler candidates there. Nobody's even talking about that.
Yeah, in Wisconsin they did. So he's got to overcome really three opponents. McCormick only has one.
So McCormick's in a better shot with that one. Is New Hampshire any chance at all, or is that just crazy talk for Trump?
It's not crazy talk, but it's hard. It is a hard lift. I don't expect it to happen, but if it wasn't happening, I will say this: they didn't send Bill Clinton there and a bunch of other high Democratic surrogates to New Hampshire, and JD didn't go there just because for shits and giggles. Something's going on there.
And Virginia in play or not really?
No, not in play. It's probably going to come within 5 points, 4 points. He'll probably retract. If it does, Virginia 7 could flip. That would be the big. If Virginia 7 flipped, that's the whole victory for all of Virginians. So
who's in that race?
It's that spy guy it's his brother. I forget his name.
Oh, Vindman.
Yeah, he's the Democrat, and I forget who the Republican.
Oh, he's running against a spec ops guy. Like he's running against the American badass on the Republican side. Isn't it so funny? It's like even when we have military versus military, the Republican military guy, looks like Chuck Norris's twin brother, and the Democrat military guy looks like he just finished a pie eating contest. I'm just saying, like this is the truth. Like I don't know. I just call it like I see it. So.
Yeah, that's true.
It is what it is. Do you have anything else? Any other wisdom you want to share with everybody? They're all going to listen before the big day. So,
if you know an older person who can't get around, get them to vote. Bring them to vote. That's your best thing. You want to sit there. I mean, listen, watching television, listening to the radio is great, but it's not going to change the election. Find an old person who lives in your neighborhood and drag them out to go vote and give them a ride, because that's important. And also look for the weather reports. I wonder what states are going to have rain, because rain does change election turnouts.
Kind of funny. You never think about that, but it certainly does. Ryan Grodowski, everybody, subscribe to the National Populist newsletter. My friend, we'll be talking after the election for sure. Thanks for joining.
Absolutely. Bye.